Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be trying to repair a Sega MegaDrive 2. This console was bought on eBay as faulty for €11 and it's not turning on. Or at least it's not turning on and staying on. If I plug in the power supply then I get a brief red light, but the slightest touch on the cable makes it turn off again. If I wiggle the cable then it turns on and off sporadically, so I'm guessing that the problem lies with the power connector on the motherboard. To open the MegaDrive there are just 4 standard Phillips head screws here on the bottom. After those 4 screws have been removed, the top case can be lifted off. With the top off, we need to remove a lot more screws now to remove the RF shielding, so that we can get to the motherboard. With the shielding gone, there are just 2 more screws to remove, one either side of the cartridge socket. Finally, I can lift the motherboard out. Now that the motherboard's out of the case, I'm just going to plug in a power supply to see what's happening with the power. I can see that it's powering on, but if I wiggle the power connector even slightly, it powers off again. So there's definitely something going on with the power socket. The connector itself seems to be in good condition. It doesn't look like there's any corrosion or physical damage. So let's take a look at the solder joints on the other side of the board. There are 3 solder joints on the back of the board connected to the pins on the socket. I can see the middle pin moving around when I wiggle the socket, so it looks like we've got a cold solder joint on that pin. If I zoom in you can see it more clearly. The solder around the pin is cracked, and as I move the connector the contact is broken. So hopefully I'll just have to resolder that pin and we should have a working MegaDrive again. First I'm just going to apply some flux from my flux pen, which helps the solder to flow. Now I'm going to take some leaded solder and my soldering iron and apply some fresh solder to that pin so that we have a solid connection again. I also decided to add some fresh solder to the other 2 pins as well, just to be sure. After applying the new solder, I gave the whole area a good clean with a Q-tip dampened in isopropyl alcohol to remove any flux residue from the board. Now it's time to put it back together again for testing. Now that it's all back together, let's plug in the power supply and see if it turns on and stays on. The console now turns on and it stays on while I wiggle the power connector, so the issue seems to be fixed. That's it for this video, thanks for watching.